And I'm going to jump over. Natalya, you're on your phone, which is cool. And you sat there, which is choice. And a few questions to fire your way. And I'll go with the same question that I asked Brianna around, from Coaching for Impact, what has had the biggest impact on your coaching? Can you maybe share some examples of how it's had a positive influence on your practice?
Yeah, sure thing. So, Andy's kind of already touched base on it, stolen my thunder a little, but I'm sure everyone can understand. But yeah, definitely for me, a big thing, especially coming into our first residential camp, was our learning journeys that we all shared with each other. We got into little groups with all various coaches and put together our why we're here, why we coach, who, what, when, how, who's impacted your life, and all of that sort of business. And so that resonated with me. And so I took that back to my coaching when I first started coaching reps, and did that little scenario on the girls team that I had. And I gave them a little bit of a homework task, and
cool.
Basically it's just building those connections, and really understanding their why and learning about the athlete themselves rather than just drilling them with technical tactical, which is how I started.
That one direction. It's yep.
Yeah. So that was a big thing for me, was understanding everyone's journeys and like it really hitting home and people getting emotional and why we're here. And shout out to you, Bevan, you're one of them that was on there on my story. But just basically, rather than all those what makes an effective coach, obviously it's all the clear, concise communication, having fun, respect, team culture building, management skills, and all of that. But it's really mainly about the athlete.
About the person who is the athlete. Yes, 100%. And I love it. I think this is super cool. And a question that I will often ask a group that anyone's welcome to steal this is, if you weren't here, what would you miss the most? So if you weren't in this group, in this team, what would you miss the most? And I did this with an adult men's club team who are, we're here to win premier competitions and stuff. Like, that's what we were there to do. And every one of them, except for one, came back spending time with my mates. And my coaching practice is here. Like, we're trying to win. We're trying to win the comp. It's technical, tactical, physical. We're trying to do this. I need to change my coaching practice to meet the needs of why they're actually here. And so, I've got a follow-up question for you, Natalya.
Yep.
So what makes a good coach-athlete relationship? If you talk about like the importance of understanding the person, and anyone in the can add on for Natalya after if you want to. And you're welcome to fire into the chat if you're a listener. What does make a good coach-athlete relationship?
I think it's from the get-go, really, your first impression with the athlete. Turning up to the gym, giving them a high five, a fist pump, what's up, bro? That sort of stuff, where they start respecting you, you start respecting them. And it's not just all about on court, it's off court as well, especially at our school leagues around here. We can walk around the gym and then I'll go, oh, hey, Sam, how's your day going? It's that sort of stuff, which is quite key, and like I really like, because like they see you in the gym and you're just you're doing your job and you're doing your thing, but like just having those connections with them really is a huge thing.
Very
and
cool.
Respect.
Nice, very cool. And I'm going to throw some more C's out to the group. I know that Andy shared the 4 C's. This time I'm going to bring the 3 C's, which you allude to a little bit here around a strong coach-athlete relationship. Number 1 is closeness, and I'm happy to share these into the chat. So there needs to be an emotional connection. And what I really like is that you do that with the boys that you coach, and the girls that I coach. We got a handshake, and it's super lame, but it's a sense of belonging. It's a slap, a bump, and a click, and I can see them, and they see each other around school, and it's a slap, a bump, and a click, and it gives them that emotional connection to each other, which is cool. The next C is commitment. So there needs to be some form of intention to maintain the relationship. If we think like trust is important, young person that we coach needs to know that you are going to be there, and that you also expect that they're going to turn up as well. So that mutual intention and desire to maintain the relationship is important. And the last one is complementarity, and that's a flipping hard word to say, where it looks at the relationship is perceived as cooperative. It's not one way. And I know that Alyssa's going to touch more about that as well later on. But the 3 C's around closeness, commitment, and complementarity, I think, is super important. Nice. I appreciate your insights around the importance of building relationships and making connections. And I want to go into the next piece that you'd want to share. The other day, you and I talked about this concept of the red brain, green brain. Can you explain this concept to the listeners and share how it had an impact on your coaching?
Yeah, so basically it kind of connects in with understanding the person as well, and it's understanding their brains and how they work pretty much. And I'm pretty sure Bree kind of touched base on it a little bit. But basically, yeah, we had the amazing Catherine Burkett. Not sure if anyone knows of her, but she was our speaker at our Queenstown camp. And yeah, so it's a little bit scientific for me, and I do have a few notes, so bear in mind if I am reading off my page. But
go for it.
Yeah, so basically people play sports for their various reasons. So, fun, friends, competition, and getting away from social media, drugs, etc., all of that carry on. And then another reason is to raise their dopamine levels, to have a sense of belonging and feel like, they're there to have fun and get fit, and
they can achieve something. They can get better. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sport is a great addiction as well, and a healthy addiction, I'd say.
Not so much when it comes to my golf. Unhealthy.
Understanding how these teenagers tick and roll, basically. So red brain is the lower section of the brain where things like survival tasks, impulsive thoughts, irrational thoughts and decisions are made, and a lot of selfishness. So it's basically the engine room is what she referred it to. And the green brain is where all the energy is stored. So it's the overriding impulses and how you plan, how you sequence your sessions, time management, being abstract and empathetic towards everyone, and making logical and rational decisions.
I've just shared some of that into the chat for the listeners.
So yeah, that's your prefrontal cortex, but obviously the brain is a lot more complex than that, which people can just Google. But yeah, basically if the red brain feels safe, then the green brain does not require any energy.
Cool.
If there's something that pops up within your day, like let's say, I'll use her example actually, the lost key.
Lose your keys, yep.
Lose your keys, yeah. So you've gone to a cafe with your mates, and you're having your coffee, your cheese scone and whatnot, getting on with your day, and you start packing up and you're about to leave and you're trying to search for your keys, and you realise you've lost them, and you start your stress.
My anxiety is ticking already just thinking about it.
Yeah, so stress, anxiety, all of those levels start raising, and your brain automatically goes into switch off mode. It's fight or flight, or the mode. So yeah, you lose your keys, you're like, oh no, and your brain instantly thinks, hypothetically, I'm going to die. If you've lost your keys, I'm going to die. So sometimes when, I suppose, you've got an athlete in your gym, let's say, and like Bree touched on, there could be other things happening in their life behind the scenes that you're unaware about, and it's that point that you need to understand how they tick and
what those triggers are.
What those triggers are basically, and pretty much resonating with the kid and making sure they're feeling safe is the big key word. And she used the word having a neuroception around, am I safe? That's the part that activates the stress response with adolescence. And basically it's scanning, your brain scans around, and pretty much all the time you're on this continuum all day. Am I not safe? Am I safe? Am I not? And your stress levels raise.
And when we sense a threat, the red brain kind of overwhelms our green brain and our ability to reason. And so if we're coaching young people and we want them to be resilient, we need to help them improve that red brain's ability to differentiate between what's a threat to my life and what's just a usual challenge. And we know that sport consistently provides us a challenge. And so we have a responsibility as coaches to help players. Okay, can we be in a green brain state of mind? Is that what that means? Did I get that right?
Yeah, 100%. Yep, that's pretty much the shortened version of that.
And nice. And how has it impacted your coaching?
So I think it's just learning and knowing, like, if when you're at your gym and something unexpectedly pops up, like you got a kid crying in the corner, for instance, and their brain's triggering and your brain's triggering, and you don't know what's up. So you need to go over, make sure they feel safe. You need to go ask questions, and just connect, really.
And that the sense of connection, it plays an important part, because relationships are a fundamental part of transitioning from red brain to green brain thinking. And it's interesting that, like, most people like to know what's happening, right? We're a little bit like everyone on this call, that the unfamiliar is a challenge. We like to know what's happening, and for some, even the unknown can be a stress trigger that ignites that kind of red brain thinking and red brain response. We also know that volleyball is unpredictable. And so as coaches, can we create a basic framework for support, or as what I call a primary option? And so forgive me if I get this incorrect, but is it called a free ball? Is that what it's called in the game? Yes, I got it right, where it's on their third play and it's not going to be a spike. They're just shoving it over. I've got that right? And so, okay, free ball, this is what our team's primary option is when that happens. Okay, this is a common understanding as a group what we are going to do in this situation. What happens after that can be a bit more flexible and unpredictable. We have this common understanding that helps keep us in green brain. Yeah, nice. And does anyone else, loving your insights, Natalya, does anyone else in the group chime in? I know that Brianna had a player look at her and go, Miss, or I don't know if they call you Miss or Brianna, but they call you Brianna, red brain or green brain or something. Do you need to share your story?
Yeah, so I was actually, because I left the training session because I was like, oh, I've got a Zoom call tonight. I need to go. So I shooted home, went to this course, listened, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, mind-blowing stuff. And then the student asked the next day at school, he was like, oh, Miss, like what did you learn? And so I shared kind of everything, and I talked to him and his mate that was with him at the time, and I was like, hey, like, is that something that you guys could do? Like, is there anything that, can you feel yourself going into the red brain where things don't start working? And these two boys just kind of sat in front of me and, yeah, I actually can, yeah. And I start shutting down and my setting doesn't work quite well. And I was like, this is exactly the same. I was thinking about this all last night.
This is it.
And, yeah. And then I was like, have you seen that in me? and like when I'm coaching, and they're like, yeah, because when you get into your red brain, you go real mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. So let's come up with a way that we can kind of check on each other. So just
Love
say, just a little reminder, hey, miss, stay in your green brain. Hey, bro, stay in your green brain. And we've just been at a school exchange over the last 2 days. And I could see this kid just getting
He's
into
going.
his brain. He was just going. He was just plummeting. And it was just a, hey, bro, stay in your green brain. Kind of made him giggle. Everything went, you could see visibly the change in him on the court. It was actually phenomenal to see. Yeah.
Very cool. And
that little check. Yeah.
And I often allude to this as like, as a coach, and those listening on the call, think of an analogy of like the oxygen mask on an airplane. You need to look after yourself first before you help others. So that ability to remain level-headed and calm. And yeah, I love the example you share, because the Black Sticks woman used to have a call when as a team, they were recognizing red brain, and the call was brown bear. And again, it's something kind of funny that people are like, why are they shouting out brown bear? Like, that's weird. Like, in a full international fixture. And it was just okay, we need to reset back into green brain, which is cool. Hey, love it. I appreciate you sharing as well, Brianna and Natalya, your insights there around the connection and the importance of coach-athlete relationships, this concept of the red brain, green brain, and how the adolescent brain works is crazy. I love it.